Good evening, dear televiewers, and welcome to another edition of the Republican Debate. And just to remind you that we are broadcasting live from Yaoundé, the nation's political capital. And then today we'll be talking on two major themes. The first one, today we'll be talking on students attacking teachers. The question is, how did we get there? Students attacking teachers, how did we get there? And then the second theme of today will be National Assembly, why the absenteeism of MPs. National Assembly, why the absenteeism of MPs. And just to let you know, I'm not alone in the studio. I've been accompanied by some guests that will be debating on this topic and throw more light on this. And right away, I am in the studio with Prince Ejede. I believe I rightly called your name.
Yeah, Prince Pierre Ejede.
Prince Pierre Ejede, you're welcome. You are from the PAP party.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me, Madam Anne. Good morning to you. Good morning to the other panelists. Good morning to the millions of televiewers of Camdis television. It's always a pleasure being in the Republican debate. As I've always said, that the Republican debate is for Republican values. So I want to use this opportunity to greet the National President of the Popular Action Party, His Excellency Jangde Istape, and also the a special greetings to the diasporans, a particular greeting to Epien Tumbengole, who is a diaspora in Switzerland, is watching us right now. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sir. And right away, on my right, we have Full Goffred. He is from the CPDN party. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. I'm very grateful to be here this evening. I think it has been long, and we are grateful to join around the table to debate on things that will make our country to move. You know, Republican debate is a debate where intelligent people exchange their idea and they contradict, but you agree at the end.
Exactly, sir. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And right away, we have this other person. I will not say this other person. He is a teacher and no other person, but Atabon Cornelius. He is a teacher and principal. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, madam, and good evening. Good evening to the panelists. I am particularly elated for the selections you made for this particular debate. Just like my panelists already said, the Republican debate, it's a debate that is watched worldwide for, for education. Let me equally take the opportunity to salute the millions of televiewers of Camdis television. Let me equally salute the proprietors of my institution, the Harvard School Complex, Madam Eyong Takang, who is equally watching us right away. An institution that has done everything to ensure that what is happening in other schools doesn't happen within our institution. Let me equally salute the members of CASPA, that is Cameroon Anglophone School Principals Association, which as association we are equally working hand in glove to ensure that we reduce this constant attack on teachers, and why not bring it to an end, doing proposals also to the government. Thank you very much. It's a rare opportunity for us to be here to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you very much once more for also honoring our invitation. And right away, I move back to my right. We have Chi Jodone. He is from the SDF party. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, madam. Good evening to my co-panelists. Special good evening to our televiewers. I want to also greet the great family of the SDF. Permit me take this opportunity to kickstart the commemoration of the 50 years of the existence of the Day of National Unity, 20th May 1972, 20th May 2022. It is going to be 50 years. It is also 50 years, according to me, of the commemoration of the grace of God on the life of President Paul Biya, because it takes the grace of God to be alive at his age and to see what has become of national unity 50 years after that day was put in place in 1972. On this special occasion, I want to address myself to the President of the Republic to tell him that he should take note of that special grace upon his life. He should count himself lucky to see how national unity has only been on paper. He should count himself lucky to see how it was a deep mistake to abrogate even the federalism that existed only on paper and put a centralized state that has failed so far. And of course, take strong measures to the effect that Cameroonians will be able to come out on the 20th of May 2022 to commemorate this day. Strong measures such as putting in place conditions for national reconciliation, declaring a ceasefire with respect to the ongoing war in the northwest and southwest regions, putting in place conditions that will enable a frank dialogue, and of course, being a major actor in the reintroduction of this time around a real federal state for Cameroon. And to the Cameroonian young people, I'm calling on them to go and register massively so that they will be actors of the Third Republic and not just observers. For where there is interest, there must be action. Interest without action is suicide.
Thank you very much, Dieudonné. The message has gone through. Dear televiewers, if you are just tuning in, this is the Republican debate on Camdis television, and we're broadcasting live from Yaoundé. And right away, we'll be watching a press review done to us by Ruth Fonyon. After that, we begin with the first theme of the day.
Good evening, televiewers and guests. Welcome to another moment with the papers. This week, we begin with Cameroon Tribune, which highlights the fight against unemployment. These great professional courses like carpentry, shoe mending, plumbery, automobile reparations, mechanical fabrication have become the most wanted jobs today for the need of the development of Cameroon. The government has kept in the disposal of Cameroonian youth several training centers for the emergence of the country. Le Soir Triebdo says, Promote 2022. The Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, MINEPAT, boasts of its achievements, while page 2 talks about the development of the capacity of defense forces towards a true industry of defense in the era of the National Development Strategy 2030. The Post-Weekender has as header the suspending operations in Southwest. Doctors Without Borders on government's neck over detention of 4 workers, and page 2 says there are some issues at stake lurking shadow of constitutional amendments. In Quotidien Eco Santé, World Day for Sport, Paul Biya offers Parcours Vita as a medication against cardiovascular diseases, and we are told in other pages of the same newspaper about the fight against cholera, effective launching of the vaccination from April 8 to 12, 2022. Municipal update underlines that as anti-COVID-19 measures pay off, Biya to preside over May 20th celebration, and to prevent pandemics, councils must develop workable waste disposal schemes. L'Économie Quotidien says cooperation, the stakes of the economic week which Cameroon is organizing in underdeveloped countries, which will take place from May 15, 2022, according to the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development. While page 6 talks of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, 7 billion francs CFA to be transferred to 71 communities in 2022. In Loju, secession, embarrassment at the Bangu chiefdom. The opposing sides have not buried their grievances. The senior divisional officer threatens aggression at the Yona School complex in Colbison. The principal is out of danger. La Nouvelle Expression talks about 20th May feast. Paul Biya closes the doors of the Unity Palace. In Douala, precisely the prison, cholera takes the life of an MLC militant. Last but not the least, Investig Info talks governance. Manauda Malashi in the fight against cholera. Vibrant and always ready to meet the realities of the field, the minister has gone to several towns in Cameroon where the illness has really attacked to comfort the population and reassure an efficient riposte of the government to stop the propagation. Lastly, the Guardian Post says 20th May, Biya removes food from civil administrators' mouth. The decision by the head of state okaying National Day celebration without feasting deprives DOs, SDOs, and governors of the huge sums of money usually allocated for food and drinks. Civil administrators will not have a motive to harass mayors, elites, and business operators. This is why we draw the curtains for this edition. Till we meet again, this was the press review.
Thank you, dear televiewers. Once more, you're welcome back. And right away, we'll begin with the first topic of the day. Students attacking teachers. The question is, how did we get there? And now right away on my left, I'll be asking Atabon Cornelius. He is a teacher and a principal, like I earlier said. How did we get there? Because the situation is becoming very, 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 well, I don't know how to say it, but it's becoming so alarming in different schools.
Yes, madam, it's not just becoming alarming, but I think the teachers are crying. And I will begin by saying that when we fail to plan, we plan to fail. In the years when we actually went to school, when education was still education, it was difficult to see even your teacher and stand. I remember when we were informed that our teacher was coming to the house, you will do all your house chores and disappear until he comes and goes. The question is, what has happened? So much so that the children of today have developed the courage, the temerity, not only to face their teachers, but to take up arms. This is school terrorism. This is terrorism in the highest order, which is being manipulated and allowed by the system in place.
Are you trying to say that those students could be referred to as terrorists?
Yeah, when we talk about terrorism, it should be explained. It should be explained. But now, the question is, how do we get here? There are different stakeholders who are responsible for this. Let me begin with the parent. Parents have failed woefully in their duties. The parents of today are simply busy producing children without looking at the future of these children. They don't even have a reflection of who or they are or what they want to do with the children. If we go around the street and we find girls aborting or giving birth to children and allowing and escaping, and we have the social welfare coming in and other stakeholders to cause them to bring up these children, it is the beginning of training unfit young Cameroonians who are going to become a danger to the society. The parents don't take their responsibility. And there is no one to educate them because our system is everyone on his own. These children are forced to fend for themselves, learn the world the hard way, and then they have no remorse for any action of theirs. In this same home, what do you expect? A child who grew up seeing the father and the mother living the life of Jackie Chan and Jelly, how do you expect the children to behave in the society? They grew up from childhood seeing their fathers in a battle. They grew up and realized that their parents did not pay their fees. They were actually time in and out in the school, either being driven from school or in one other thing, and the parents never had the time to go to school to follow their children's education. These children are going to become a delinquent, not only to school, but I want to reiterate, after school, they are going to become a serious problem to the society if the government does not take care. Because if a child has the audacity to beat up the teacher, kill the teacher, attack the principal, I bet you, if he sees any government official, that very person will do same. Today we'll talk about Boko Haram in the far north, we'll talk about the Amber Boys in the southwest and northwest. It all started like this. When they lose remorse for their attitude back at home. Did you know that there are parents who have taken their children to the gendarmerie to be sanctioned, and these children return home a few minutes after? What do you expect that the children should be? Children whom parents run away from. Do you know that parents who are able to talk back at their own children? I am talking experiences who lived in school. That is for the parent. On the side of the government, what do you expect when the government create laws that defend the children against the teachers? What do you expect? That when the teacher takes up a cane against the child, the teacher is sanctioned. What was the government thinking when they removed the cane from the classroom? When they removed corporal punishment from the school institution and decided to punish and challenge the teacher in front of the students? It is in this country where we heard that a Dio had to go to a school and slap the teacher in front of the class. What do you expect the children to do? If the boss beat up their own so-called respectful person in their presence, they were taught to do the same. And today the government is crying foul. And let me say, doing nothing. We don't expect people rushing to school environment when the teacher is lying dead. This is not the first case. It happened in Cameroun when a math teacher was stabbed to death. What did the government do? Which law were enacted in the parliament and passed and reinforced? Nothing was done.
I think what happened in Colbison when the teacher was stabbed, the Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova, went down there and tried to exchange with the school, the other teachers, and also I think the guy who did it, the student who did it, was locked up.
What do you mean by locked up? I have a lot of respect for my Minister, Nalova, because she's doing quite a lot. But I will say it here and now, her hands are tied at a certain corner. Left to her own way, she would have done a lot to save the teachers. Okay. But I'm speaking in general terms. She has done a lot. She has sent a lot of communicators that could defend us. But I'm saying that this attitude continues because it is in a corrupt system. These very children that were knocked up were later on released on the context that they were minors. Which minors? Don't we have reformation centers in this country? Let me remind the Republicans that we have a special unit in charge of school security located in Soa. It's either their number is not passing or their account action has been taken and they will claim that it's another person's responsibility to take up.
Okay.
These units are supposed to be multiplied and made available to schools so that they can run. I am blaming the government for having a system that doesn't defend the people. For how long were teachers striking for issues that were burning? And nothing was done permanently up to 4 weeks. Does that mean the teacher is not even recognized? These are facts that is bringing us where we are. And just to add, we have a system where schools crop out here and there. I mean, gutter schools. And the government cannot put in place, an order. You have a 2-room building, we're operating a school there. You have a 3-room building, we're operating a school there. Most of these schools are clandestine, they don't have documents, and then because of hunger and starvation, unemployment, every jack and Jill is picked up to run a school or to teach in an institution who doesn't master the norms and the classroom management rules, and this brings about tension. Our classroom is very soon becoming a war zone. Okay. And I want to remind the public that until the stakeholders realize that change, a better change for any country geared toward development begins in the school, or will continue to stagnate. Okay. And I bet you, the Boko Haram crisis and the Northwest and the Southwest crisis will just be the beginning.
We'll come back to you. Full Godfrey, can we say that parents at a certain level have failed in their responsibilities to guide their children, looking at the way they keep on attacking their own teachers in school?
You know, I think there are certain things that we have to identify, and I think those are things that are facts. They are facts, and I want to cite them. So maybe we can comment. I want to go at the same line with the principal who just said he talked about the parental responsibility. We have the parental responsibility. We have bad companies. We have the economic situation of the teachers. We have the selling of bad drugs. We have the society that have ceased to play his role in the education of the children. We have also these social media. Now, if I come back to the parental responsibility, you know, today we can talk about this situation where we have single parents. He just mentioned that these small girls that you see along the street with pregnant and all the rest. So you can imagine that at the end of the day, when they give birth to that child, who will take care? Because the mother herself have nothing to eat. And at the end of the day, that the child will grow up as a street child, and he will end up, even if you help the child to go to school, he will end up by doing what you see is happening today. And today, parents, when somebody wake up, you know, at first, in the old days, when parents, the rule of the mother was to take care of the children at home. Look at them when they are back from school, clean them, make them to sleep, and make them to study. But today, the father will go on mission and the mother will go on mission.
I'm trying to say that mother should not work because you said that first.
No, if you know, we have two things to choose. Yeah. Either we arm our children against the society and against ourselves. Because I want to say that those children are not born only towards the teachers, but they are also born towards us. So you know, when those children grow up without any parental education, the only parent is the teacher. And let me tell you the truth. Even as we are all now like this, what is good, especially in the side of education, if you sit here now, madam, they said, I want to teach you for 3 hours. At a certain moment, if I just tell you, I want to leave, I want to go beside there, you say, no, go and even stay. Even at this our old age. Now, these children sees the teacher who is there only to say, no, this is the right thing you should do, this is the right thing you should do. At the end of the day, he cannot identify himself with the teacher who is not his family member, who look as a traitor to him, who look as somebody who is there to subject his liberty, and he turned now as an enemy. That's one fact. When the principal is telling him, that's what the parent was supposed to say. In your school, do they accept this assorted pullover? That's the first thing the parent was to say. And when the teacher is repeating it, the child will even remember, my mom told me this. But when it is the teacher to discover that the child is not well dressed, when you are telling him that issue, he said, nobody said this when I was coming. And when you say that, it means you want to betray my life. He sees you as an enemy. That's the problem of parents abandoning the children, and the issue of single parents and even divorce, who are one of the cause. Now, the situation of the teachers. You see, we can say most of our people now are sending their children in the private sectors, private school and all the rest. See how much are they paying those teachers? They have nothing. Now, when the child is coming, having his big phone, maybe, I don't know how they call those phones, and you see the principal or the discipline master seeing it, he sees as a miserable somebody who is struggling to do what was not supposed to be. At that moment, he becomes an enemy. So, the drugs. You know, Satan is everywhere. We don't know how those drugs get into this country, but children are consuming them. Sometimes you see a child in class just looking at you, maybe because he's drunk, and sometimes some of them will go out more than 5 times. Sometimes there was a program, they said clean up schools, and they talk about they were to employ some people who were to stand beside the toilet and where people go and eat, the students go and eat themselves, to see what is happening there. It was a good program. I think sometimes when there are certain things like this one, we should not only wait for the state. We may, in our schools, try to employ 1 or 2. When you enter there for 2 minutes, now you get out. Because that's where sometimes they go and consume those things and come back and attack the teachers.
I think there are discipline masters employed for that, right?
No, the discipline master cannot multiply himself. He is the one, when the teacher is not there, to tell the others to stay in class, to stop noise and all the rest. Maybe schools may employ people who will be permanently be there, at least to see, because those are the places, all the hidden places, those are where they go and get those drugs. You see, so my able principal said something there about the the type of schools that people create anywhere, even in their houses, where you see those are the places this kind of students will come and hide. But today, what is becoming a school? Because at first, when you are going to the market and you see a teacher, if you are not well dressed, you hide. The only thing your mother can tell you that will frighten you, if you don't carry water, I will call your teacher. You are finished. But today, we don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Thank you. I think we'll come back to you, Full Godfrey. Thank you very much for that contribution. We'll move over now to Prince APA, the situation of students attacking teachers. Is it that the parents too, at a certain point, they are also afraid to guide the student in the house and give them the education? Because in the society we've discovered now, it's like parents have just abandoned the children to their teachers.
Madam, the question you're asking is students attacking teachers, how did we get there?
Yes.
We should know, we should have a deeper thought of how we got there. Yes, I believe that if I was invited in this program, I'm invited because I'm a teacher too, which you failed also to to tell your televiewers about college. I'm a senior pedagogue.
Oh, that's it.
Equally a school principal.
Oh.
Yes, so it means that, and that's it. What I'm saying is because the televiewers should know those that are talking.
Yes.
They should know.
Yeah.
I heard an NGO which is dubbed FITEXMA, that is Association for Enforcing Quality Education and Fight Social Ills in the School Milieu. We have been doing a lot, and you know that child delinquency is one of the things that we are eradicating in the school milieu. But now, answering that question, how did we get there?
Yeah.
We need to have a deeper thought about it, and pondering about it, I realized that moral values have the moral values in our society have dropped in the Cameroonian society. Now, when we say that the moral values in the Cameroonian society have dropped drastically, I'm saying drastically. How did we get there? They have dropped drastically. That is why we are having these consequences today, because the moral values have dropped. Now, to answer that question, why now the moral values have dropped, for us to know why we got there, I will analyze it in three aspects. The first aspect is looking at the government's responsibility. Okay. How do you think that in a society where children, they see that their ministers, directors in the state, they promote corruption, they promote nepotism, I'm talking of social ills, they promote tribalism, they promote clientelism, they promote favoritism. If all these moral values in the society have dropped with all these social epidemics that I'm naming, that is coming from the government itself, what do you want the younger ones to do?
They want to believe that all the authorities, not everyone.
Madam, it is 80%. The whole government of this country is in prison. The whole government of this country is in prison. Why, when the whole government of this country is in prison, what do you think that the younger generation will have? What would they copy? What would they copy? Now, what we are trying to say is that the younger generation is very fragile, and the younger generation copies from the elders. When you look at even what is happening today in Cameroon, I'm saying at the level of the government, you realize that some of this, you realize that most of those that are even taking decisions in this country are very arrogant people. Where do they school? If you go and follow their report cards, you will realize that most of them are former delinquents in school. And that is the country that we're having today. That is the country that we're having today. I'm telling you the truth. Because of what? They got there because of clientelism. They got there because of nepotism. They got there because of favoritism. It's a whole fall of the moral values in the society. The younger generation is bound to copy. We have a big problem in Cameroon. A very big problem. A very big problem. The government has failed. In the end of year speech of the President of the Republic, Mr. Paul Biya, in 2020, He told the youths that they should not imitate anti-models. Who are the anti-models? Which he was citing. The anti-models are those in his regime. Is the anti? Look, if you okay, let's go in the opposition. Look at Jandeni Stabel, the national president of the Popular Party. Is he an anti-model? He's a model. Look at the national president of the SDF party, Nijon Fundi. He's an anti-model. He's a model. And many other opposition leaders. But look at what is happening in the government. They are anti-models. And just to answer the president of the republic in what he said in 2020, that what he said was contradicting his governance. It's contradicting his governance. So the youths are bound to copy.
The teachers now are victims.
The children now become victims, which the parents now, going to the second aspect of it, which the parents now is very difficult for them to control. I just dismissed a student in January. I can tell that child was a drug addict. We tried to caution that child for him to follow the rules, counsel him, but he will never want to understand. Those are the type of things that we have in the school. And if you see most of these children taking knife to stab their teachers and all that, it is because they have copied from the regime. When the regime declares war on its own citizens, then you should go and fight. When the regime declares war on its own citizens, what do you expect the younger generation to copy? That yes, we should be using knife to kill ourselves. So we are saying that it's but true that the parents have their responsibility to caution their children, because we know that we also have some parents who are very hot, of which they don't want to play along with the school administration to caution their children.
We've seen situations where parents even go to school and also shout. Fight the teachers. And then also to add, we'll come back to you.
And then also to add,
let him finish.
Mr. Fogo, you spoke for more than 10 minutes, and I will listen to you patiently.
Go ahead, Prince. Go ahead.
And also to add, going now to the third aspect of it, you realize that there is also a problem of those who own schools. Those who own schools. You will see there is a document that you need to have before you open a school. That document is certificate of morality.
Yeah.
But if you go and see what is happening, students who are being dismissed from lycées is what most of the private school proprietors want some teachers, some school principals to recuperate, because they think that they're in business. So there are many issues to see how we got there. So it's a collective failure between the government, the parents, and the society itself. It's a collective. Now, how can we solve this?
Okay, we'll come back to that question.
That is what.
Yes, thank you very much, Prince Pierre. We're going to come back to that question certainly. And now, Chidiyodone, students attacking teachers. I think the dose is really high up because this has become very rampant in the society now. So what do you think is the problem? Where is the problem?
Well, madam, you started with pedagogues, and they have had to give a very brilliant expose as to what's going on. But I want to take the angle of the law. You know, people do not fear the law because they know the virtue of the law, but they fear the law because they are afraid of sanction. So when you are in a dispensation where the young people do not fear the law, it's because they are not afraid of sanction. So the question you ask yourself, is the law sufficiently strong? Is it playing the role that it's supposed to play to deter people from committing crimes? Or the law is merely letter? You know, we have a situation in our country where even the judiciary is questionable, where people think that they can do and undo, even with the judiciary. We also have a problem of communication, because this issue is not an issue of today. When it happens, what measures are being taken? How effective are these measures? How does the government communicate? You find, for example, the situation where a student stabs a teacher. Some few months after, the government is supposed to communicate efficiently on that matter. Let the other students know the consequences they stand to face if they ever even think of such a thing. But, you know, the thing goes, you said Minister Nalova went down, it ends like that, and then later on, nobody knows what happened to him. And I'm hearing one of the principals here saying that the student was later released. And what do you expect others who get that? And you are telling them that they should be scared of you, the teacher, because if they do this, they know what happened to their colleague when they did this to another person. So, the law should, first of all, regain its rigor. The law should gain its, it should play its principal role to deter people, and you play that principal role by making the judiciary independent, looking at the magnitude of this problem, and also given the fact that it is attacking the nucleus of the nation, which is education. There should be efficient communication on the issue. When people are found, you know, violating their teachers or harming their teachers, there should be efficient communication with respect to the sanctions that have been taken against them. Now, we also have the angle of drug abuse. Drug abuse, they need to reinforce the policy, public policy, as far as the whole drug business is concerned. How does it get into the country? Now, we need to also put in place mechanisms which permit a greater majority of Cameroonians to be able to denounce those that are taking part in the sale of drugs.
There are some drugs that are also cultivated in the country.
Yes, and the safety of those that denounce it. And make sure that if somebody denounces somebody who is involved in the drug business, the punishment should be exemplary and they should communicate about it. It's very important. Because when you talk about issues which are very dangerous to society like this, even, I'm not saying that the government has never punished somebody, but when the government punishes somebody and it ends just under the table, people are not scared. Let it be very exemplary, and the government should communicate effectively on it. Now, when they talk about the situation of parents, young girls giving birth to children and all that, even in the yesteryears, we had single parents, of course. Today, parents are so busy because, first of all, the economic situation of the country is very tough. So you work very much, but gain very little. But the responsibility is huge. So parents, there is that time that has actually reduced for parents to spend with the children. Now, what is responsible for all this? When we come back at the level of the public, and I will take off from where my compatriot, my co-panelist ended, the issue of rigor and morality. What has happened? Why is it that life has become so hard in Cameroon? One of the reasons is the bad governance. And in when President Paul Biya took over, he said that his mandate was going to be that of rigor and moralization, and that he was to be remembered as he who brought democracy and prosperity in Cameroon. We have the exact reverse of the situation today. When life becomes so hard and these parents can't take care of these children, some of these children become street children. Why has life become so hard from them? These children have people who, because they are in government, they have the license to steal. And they are stealing the future of these children. They steal the money that was supposed to be able to create jobs. They stay there, they don't do their job to govern well, so that the parent who is at home will do what he has to do, get enough money to take care of these children, and they are there. And why not even after, when these children even leave school, they don't have jobs. So you have a whole, you know, a whole package that merits public attention. And also, I want to, this time around, also look into the fact that we have evolved. The society has evolved. When you look at the communication technology, Many children, for example, co-panelists were saying here that you heard about your teacher, you were running. Today, students no longer run, not just because they do not fear the teacher, they do no longer run because they also know their rights. Students are now aware that they also have some rights. And we should not also forget, when we are looking at this issue, we should look at the global view. Could it be that somewhere, somehow, the teacher also has a responsibility? Let us also look at that. Because we are not saying that teachers are saints. Maybe somewhere, somehow, there could be some teachers that also violate the rights of some children. And maybe if these children do not see possible avenues to be able to restore or to be able to make sure that their rights are respected, sometimes they react with violence.
I mean, it's not good, because I believe that if a student is feeling like the teacher has violated his or her rights,
Mr.
Chidledone,
not that I'm taking your parole, I want to say something. Mr. Atabong, my colleague, said something here which is very important. It's just that maybe because of time he did not go deeper to develop. There is a problem in this country because of the eradication of the cane in the school milieu. I want
yes,
no,
I think that point we'll come back to it.
Okay,
I'm sorry, yes, you have 1 minute.
The issue of the cane, let me start from where you're stopping. The issue of the cane is a global issue. Education is not just in Cameroon, it's a global issue. Almost everywhere around the world, the cane has been forbidden from the school. But we have different means of punishing the children. So what I was trying to say with respect to teachers is that the government, those that are in charge of elaborating public policy, have had several of these cases. Now we need to do a very good diagnosis. What has happened? The teacher that was killed in Colbison, what has happened? There are so many cases like that. Can we put the stakeholders together, parents, teachers, and even some of these students? Let us see what really the problem is. Now, when we identify the problem, drug abuse, what measures can we take? We put them down. Yes. We identify parents. What measures can we take? We put them down. We identify maybe the responsibility of some teachers. What measures can we take? We put them down. And probably now we can come out with a law on education,
thank you very much,
which will make sure that it's effectively enforced. Because one of the problems in Cameroon is not the law, but the enforcement of the law.
Yes, we'll come back, dear viewers. Before we take you, Fcfa, he has something to say. Let's watch this report done to us by BrigadeAntiSardinard on the issue of teachers being attacked by students. And when we come back, we'll continue with the debate.
The impact of school violence often lasts longer in anyone's life and plays a pivotal part in their life after school. Yet, in comparison to the wealth of studies on the causes and impact, relatively little attention has been devoted to the causes and impacts of school violence on social development. The principal objective is to examine causes, impacts of violence in schools, and propose possible intervention strategies. By investigating the causes, impacts of school violence of students, academic and social development, 4 research questions needs to be answered and accompanied with focus group discussion. There is an increased occurrence of violence in schools, and the causes range from mild teasing, belittling someone, verbal insult to bullying, to more severe acts of gang violence, drug consumption, among others. As concerns the impact, school violence disrupts social relationships, affects academic performance, destruction of property. The following intervention strategies, if implemented, will it eliminate or reduce school violence to its barest minimum. No violence campaign, promoting non-graphic and non-violence messages, civic education, social development programs, community-relative campaign, peace programs should be the key word. Most Cameroonians blame this immoral behavior to lack of moral teaching and poor parental upbringings, where most parents care less on who their children associate with or what they do in and after school. Attack on teachers within the past years have become too rampant, and many of these pedagogues blame the government for giving more rights to students through what they term human rights. The respect accorded to these nation builders in the years has been sacrificed on the altar of greed, and morals means nothing in the educational sector. The use of sharp objects such as blades, Knives, chisels, screwdrivers, among others, are common in school milieus. For Cameroon to achieve the emergence geared for 2035, more attention needs to be paid to the educational sector and morals must be reinstated.
You're welcome back. We're talking on the first topic, students attacking teachers. How did we get there? Principia, you had something to say. You have 1 minute before we draw a conclusion on this first topic.
Yes, what I wanted to say is that I'm not d'accord with my brother Chidedone, who says that the cane has been eradicated globally. It is what is happening in Nigeria. Here we use the cane. The problem is that those that took that decision were like saying that they want to protect. I'll come there. They want to protect human rights violations. Are you going to human rights violation? Now, but the question we are posing is that a child who stabs the teacher, is that not a gross violation of human rights? It's a gross violation of human rights. So which is equally forbidden. Which is equally forbidden. There is nowhere under the international declarations of human rights. International Declaration of Human Rights and Freedoms, which stipulates that a cane should be eradicated in schools. There is no article. All the 30 articles, there's no one. And even you read the African Charter of People's Rights, there's nowhere. The problem is that it is very clear that we should eradicate corporal punishment. But what government needed to do is that government needed to regulate the use of a cane.
Okay.
The use of a cane, of which maybe the responsibility of the use of a cane would have gone maybe to the administrators of the school.
Okay, thank you.
Of the school. Even though, let me tell you the truth, even though the government has done it, there are some schools that are still using the cane, and I can tell you what the cane is doing. Yes. So it's a big problem, madam.
Okay, the message has gone through. We'll come back, and then we come back to Atabo Cornelius to conclude with this topic. What is the way forward? How can we end this?
Yes, madam, I would like to go a little bit rapid because of time constraint. If we take stock of this attack on teachers, 90% of this attack is in government institutions. That's spelled clearly on discipline. 90% of this attack is on government institutions. Why? Because just like Principia said, these are institutions that are directly under the government and are following this human right of a thing and respecting the child's right against the students, against the teacher's right. In government institution, you can't punish a child anyhow. The father will come to school, he will sue you. But we in the private institution, before we admit a child, you take an undertaking that gives us the right over you, as long as you remain a student or a parent in that institution. If you are not d'accord, leave. And at any moment we dismiss you, we are dismissing you in context with the agreement you signed before coming to the institution.
So how can we handle this?
No, that's what I'm coming. Now, looking at this all together, the government need to regularize the laws he set against the teacher. Let the student at any point in time know that my teacher remains my boss even when he's not in school. Point one. Point two, looking at the incompetent recruitment of teachers in the government institutions, government teacher college, like the ENS, you see that 90% of those who are recruited into these teaching institutions are those who have the money and don't have the knowledge. I said it, I'm repeating that. Those who have the power don't have the knowledge, but those who have the knowledge don't have the power. So most of these teachers, even in class, are not God-given teachers. They find themselves there because they're looking for food, and because of that they don't have classroom management. So let me just round up, please. Now, looking at that, you see the ages of some of these teachers compared with the ages of students. Like what we just saw, the students are bound to disrespect them because the ages are not commensurate. And just to say, with us in the CASPA, because I represent the national secretary of CASPA, which is Cameroon Anglophone School Principal Association, we have taken our own measure. We have visited some of these schools. Spoken to the children, we've taken a working session to the teachers, we've written to the proprietors, and we've written an open letter to the regional delegate and to the minister calling on some of this respect to be accorded to the teachers. And this working session have to an extent moralized the children and giving them the sense that where you are, it is your only hope of being a better person.
Okay, thank you very much, Full Government. The situation is so alarming and very disturbing. So how can we work together to bring an end to this very disturbing situation among students and teachers?
Yes, I think the society have to take back its responsibility. You know, at first, when they say a child is born, he is no longer the child for the parents, but for the society. Which means any parent can discipline. But today you see some children, they think that their father is the one that gave birth to them. So even if you are his teacher, you cannot do anything. So we should not just throw the blame, because at the end of the day, when I hear Mr. Pierre saying government, we call government so many times, and I just wanted to tell him it is like running away from his responsibility. You see, because government is all of us. Government is you. Government is me. When a parent come and hand his child to you, it's because he believes in you and he know that you can educate that child. Let's try as much as possible to do what we can do at our own level before we complain about anything. You know, when we talk about corporal punishment, it's not only Cameroon. Cameroon, it is an international convention that was signed. So you know, some parents, and some of the times even, because most of the time here, we should call the attention of the parents. Because when the child knows that he has the backup, and if you know the lies that these children are telling the parents when they are back home, they make them to understand what they cannot understand. They will tell them how the teachers are treating them. Some will even say when the teacher comes to the class and see him, he is like mad. And at that moment, the parent will not come with clear mind to ask exactly what is happening, because he knows nothing about the child. There are children that they were supposed to be well known by the parents, and from there I think we can begin. Because when there are things like this, we have to look the sources where those things are coming from. Because all these children that we are talking to, they are living from homes. Before the teacher will do his second role, which is to educate
the children. Thank you very much for Godfrey. Please appeal. I believe you are also a parent. You are at the same time a politician. You are a principal. You are a teacher. So where are we moving to? Where are we heading to for this to come to an end?
Madam, the first thing is, talking as a teacher, the first thing is the curriculum. There's a problem. There's a problem. Do you know that in the French subsystem of education, Mr. Fugofre is a teacher. He's equally a teacher. In the French subsystem of education, do you know that there is no subject like moral education in the French subsystem? Then, no, Mr. Fugofre, what if I'm saying other is governors?
No, because I did, when I'm speaking even the English, you can understand. I've never been in an Anglophone school. Let me just say it clear.
Exactly.
I did, but French education. We have l'éducation civique.
Education civique is citizenship education. It is not moral education. But in the let me go. That is a big problem. And though in the Anglo-Saxon subsystem of education, we have moral education, religious studies. But what is the problem now? Is that
now, if you talk about religious studies,
what we talk of religious studies is moral education. So now the problem is that the moral education has not been given its place in the Cameroonian society. And let me tell you that one of the revendications that people are dying to do in the north and the southwest was that religious studies should be given its place in the society. It's a big problem. That's what I'm saying. In the curriculum itself, it needs to be corrected immediately in the both systems of education. That's why I'm saying that the problem we have in Cameroon is because those that are governing us, they have not yet taught. They did not think Cameroon. I always say it. They did not think Cameroon. People are dying because they did not think Cameroon. They are thinking, but they are only thinking for their stomachs. And look at them. Their stomachs are always big. Thinking of their stomachs. I'm saying Mr. Godfrey knows what I'm saying. The second thing, madam, to be done is that the government should give teachers their respect. Do you know that when that young guy Chakunte was killed in Colbison, do you know that the government had to bring the gendarmes, the military, to suppress the teachers who were revolting? And these are the repercussions we're having today. The videos are there. The videos are there. The students are seeing. The
teachers have been beaten.
They have been beaten. They were being treated like animals. You can imagine. And the teachers were in their robes. Mr. Full Godfrey, tell the president, the national president of your political party, who is the head of state of this country, that the teachers, that they should give teachers their respect.
Okay.
They should.
I think you are just trying to divert the topic. Who was what?
Mr. Full Godfrey, we are not diverting the topic.
To analyze the sources. But we are proposing some. That's a group.
At this point in time, we are proposing solutions.
Let me tell you,
we are proposing solutions.
When you talk about the member of how many of them are there compared to the students, compared to the teachers that were supposed to teach them before you get to that level.
Mr. Full Godfrey, we are saying that the teachers should be given their respect. If you don't pay teachers their money, what do you expect? They'll be coming closer, because Mr. Children was talking something which is very fundamental, that the teachers also have some responsibility. We should not remove the teachers also. They have come too close to students because of hardship.
Closer to students.
Borrowed students' money and all whatnot. It degrades the teachers. Madam, in the epoch, if I am a teacher today, it's because I admired Pankale, who taught me in class 6. Because I admired Professor Onomo Etaba, who taught me in varsity. It's that's why I'm a teacher today. Now, madam,
1 minute, sir.
To end by saying that, as a politician that I am, and the voice, the spokesman of the Popular Action Party, we have been saying that decentralization in itself is not a problem, but decentralization cannot function in a central government. It cannot work. Okay. And we have been saying that this country should go back to, you cannot be talking decentralization, which is the younger border of federation, and then you yourself you centralize power in Yaoundé. All the power is there in it today. All the money is there in it today. And now to say, madam, this one is very important. That federation should come back in this country, because when federation come, powers will go to local authorities and local collectivities.
I don't believe that we
Thank you.
are.
No, madam, we are on the topic. We are on the topic, Mr. Fulcofred. Local authorities and local collectivities. The televiewers are understanding my sense.
Even the educational system is decentralized.
Why is it that everyone still take decisions in Yaoundé? When it go back to the, for example, when it go back to the regions, primary education will go to the municipal councils, of which they will regulate very well, and all this respect will go back, and moral values will go back to the school. And the secondary education will go to the regions, and we shall regulate. That's what we are saying.
I am with Dieudonné. The situation is so disturbing. What is the solution? Where should we move from, and where should we head to for this to come to an end?
Well, let us come together, bring together all the stakeholders, teachers, students, parents, and see to it, and the public authorities, and see to it that we have a common ground as to what the problem actually is. I think that that should probably be one of the aspects that will be looked at when we will have a dialogue on the educational system of Cameroon, because there is need to reform the educational system as a whole. And I am proposing that when we will have to reform, but we would have put in place conditions to reform and adapted educational systems to the present realities of Cameroon. That aspect should be part of it, and it will come out with a national law for education that is more appropriate for our context now. Of course, one of the aspects of that national law that I want to bring out is the aspect of the fact that people should know that their ethical record can preclude them from having the future they want to have. If you know, for example, that an established, authentic ethical record about you as a student, or even about you as a teacher, will stop you from having a job, you're going to sit up because you know you have a whole future to lose if you go the wrong way. And then the law should retain its rigor to say that even you should also know that even if you lose this future and you want to be delinquent, there is the law. It is either you align or the law breaks you. Let it be well known, and then communication, taking into consideration the fact that the gravity of the problem, the communication on this issue should be very, very efficient in such a way that all the students know what they stand to lose and the consequences that have befallen those that have committed the acts that they may be contemplating to commit, and of course look into the problem in a global manner, looking at the responsibility of the teachers, because I want to say here that we may be talking just about the teachers, but these students may also be the victims of some injustice on the part of teachers, but are silent or have not yet talked about it.
No, we have even had the teacher, one of the teachers who have been beating a child with I don't know, with a cutlass, something like that.
No, but when that is done, the school administration must sanction the teacher.
I want to precise my point. As teachers want to be respected before students, and of course want to be respected with respect to their bosses, they should also know that students also demand some respect from them. That is the age in which we are. So let the cards be clear. Let the responsibility of the teachers also be looked at, because I am tempted to believe that sometimes too the teachers are not saints and could also commit some injustice to these students at various levels, not only beating. But if we examine it, we're going to see what's happening.
Thank you very much, T. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the second theme of today. Thank you once more. We are back. At this point in time, we're talking about debating on the second topic, that is the National Assembly. Why the absenteeism of MPs? The situation now is, we begin with Prince Pierre. Parliamentarians lived at different constituencies to come to Yaoundé to take part in parliamentary sessions, but they are absent. What is the problem? Where are they?
Madam, when you ask me such a question, it's very funny, because do we even have a parliament? I don't even know if we have a parliament. We just have a hand-clapping house. That's what we have, which is there in here in Wakile, a hand-clapping house. When you have a house which is supposed to be a parliament, which they need to deliberate laws for the well-being of the citizens, but those people go there to clap hands. Tell me one law since you were born that they have voted in that parliament that has changed their life, that changed the life of Cameroonians. They go there, they themselves know. When you see them coming to Yaoundé, they are running to come and take contracts. If you see the parliamentarians coming to Yaoundé, they are running to come and take their per diem, they are running to come and take their money. You think they are in Yaoundé, they are there in a Hotel de Député, they are there. But they don't even go there to the session because they know very well that the session will not yield any fruit. Which debates? This is, since 2016, people have been dying in the Northwest and the Southwest. We are counting more than 3,000 deaths. But in the Parliament of Cameroon, this Parliament of Cameroon that you are talking about, that MPs are not there, it has never been tabled as a problem in Parliament.
Well, I think that if parliamentary sessions have been organized, they have to come together and share ideas.
Madam, they are going there to do what? They themselves, they know that when they are going there to do what? It has shown already. When I saw the president of the National House of Assembly, Kamer, on that note, I laughed. It is showing Cameroonians exactly what is happening in Cameroon. We don't have a parliament. We have a hand-clapping house. So the parliamentarians, they say, they know that when they go there, there is nothing that can change. You cannot, there is no parliamentarian in this country that has been able to change one comma in the Cameroon law.
Parliamentarians have been voted by us.
Who voted by? Madam, we know how elections take place in this country. Our topic today is not elections. We want to talk about elections. They
represent us in parliament.
Madam, represent who? Who are they representing? They are representing their person. Madam, go and make a census of all the parliamentarians. you will see that either their children are in a NAM, their children are in a MIA. That is what they come to do in Yaoundé. Their children are in a corps normal. They are coming to for clientelism, favoritism, tribal. That is what they are doing. And then it goes back to what I was saying in my introduction of the other topic, that the morals of this country is posing a problem because of those that are governing this country. That is what is happening. So the repercussions are there. We can only have a good parliament in the Third Republic. I like the word. I'm a militant for the Third Republic. It's only when this regime will end, and it will be ending soon, that we can have a real parliament where we have good representatives that will go in parliament to go and vote, to go and debate. Tell me one parliamentarian who has been able to control any government action. Any government action. Tell me one parliamentarian. Money is being swindled every day. We have the Can Gate. It's a proof. Mr. Fulgoffer will not tell me that what I'm saying I'm not correct. We have the Covey Gate. It's a proof. In the Covey Gate, even there are parliamentarians whose names are there. There are in this parliament, I'm saying, even parliamentarians of some parties who they say they're opposition parties. Their names are there. In the Covey Gate, there's scandal. But then you are telling which parliament? They are coming. I said, make a census, madam. All these parliamentarians, even those that are not sitting in parliament, have been former parliamentarians. If their children, their cousins, have not gone to a NAM, or they have not gone to a MIA, or they have not gone to a Konoman, or they have not gone to how do they call this school here? They call the post Polytech. They call the Travaux Publics. That is what they are coming to do in Yaoundé. So when they come now, they are now lobbying, going around ministries to lobby to see how they'll hijack Cameroon, and then to put Cameroonians to continue to suffer in penury. But in the Third Republic shall not work.
Thank you very much, Principe. We move now over to full government. We're talking about the National Assembly. The rate at which parliamentarians are absent is so alarming. And what is the problem?
Yeah, when I saw this topic, the first question I asked was the MPs from which party? That's the first question I asked. Oh, that was just a general observation that was done, because for my
Mr. Fulgoffer, an MP is voted in parliament to represent a party or to represent Cameroonians.
When you are talking, I stay quiet now.
Let him finish.
Yes. So because for my known, all the CBTM MPs are always present. Now, you know, politics is like a football match. In a football match, you may go in thinking that if you have 1/0, you win the match. But when you go in and you discover that the opponent is so soft, you understand, you can score as much goals you can. You see, so the CBTM people are always there, and they have always been present. And those who think that governing by making an empty chair, I just believe that in the next coming election, PAP will always be present no matter what.
So what can justify their absence in parliament?
You know, I said if it was about the MPs of the CBTM, I may tell you why. But if the MPs of the CBTMs are always present, I think their justification is that they have to go and think and see how they can come back, because we are ready. We will be there.
But I think before the parliamentary session, they were already aware that they were going to come to parliament.
No, I said those people may belong to another party.
Okay, yeah.
I think we are represented here by the SDF. We have an able man from the SDF, and they are represented also at the parliament. And if those MPs are from SDF, he may be well placed. But I just advise, empty chairs government is nothing. CBTM has his number. They are there in number. And tomorrow, if they see that those chairs are not good for them, we'll fill them.
Mr. Professor, you have not answered that question. Why are parliamentarians not in parliament? That is a question. Why are they not there?
No, let me tell you,
They are not there. They are not there. You want to say that the president of the National Assembly is not correct?
CBD.
Who is a big week of the CPDM party that you belong?
That those parliamentarians who were absent.
Mana, it's not true. What you say is not true. It's just a CPDM epidemic to just support things that are always not correct.
He has the floor.
Yes, I said those parliamentarians that are absent are not from CPDM.
It's not true. It's not true.
And they know why they are absent.
It's not true.
I said, just to call the attention that next time, the next coming election, we are going to fill those empty chairs.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll be waiting.
We are going to see.
Okay, we
we
have a problem at hand. The constant or the alarming absence of parliamentarians to the parliamentary sessions. What can justify their absence?
Okay, Madam, thank you for giving me here, taking another opportunity. From my own point of view, when you look at these so-called parliamentarians, they are beautifully old.
Why do you call them so-called?
I'm called them so-called because a parliamentarian has certain duties to perform to his constituency, and they are unable to perform this duty back to their constituency. So they are so-called because this duty, this main reason, this main job they were called for, they are not doing it, or rather still, they are doing it and it ends in their pocket. My main point of focus is, what do you expect old persons to go to the parliament and do? It's not an issue of maybe CPDM or opposition. 90% of parliamentarians as a whole are old people. Cameroon is not old in terms of soil. Cameroon is not old in terms of age. Why must it be governed by people who are very close to their graves? So at times, their health does not even permit them to sit in that parliament. They can go, and in order to cover the nonsense, the cacophony, the Speaker of the House Assembly needs to speak out because the eyes of the world are seeing. He is just propagating propaganda to confuse the already confused society, so that we all remain in that confusion. But let me tell you that some of these CPDM persons that we are saying, or opposition, they are supposed to be in parliament to defend the ideologies of their people. But unfortunately, our nation has deteriorated to the extent where national accounts are open to party justification. The CPDM as a party is supposed to have its own budget, but it uses the budget of the state to sanctify the functioning of a party.
Can you justify that?
Excuse me.
Can you
You can say that after that, please. You can talk after.
Okay,
now,
let him finish.
because of this, they are worthy. They are living, rich. So most of them are not even in the country. They don't even need to come for the parliament because their involvement to make their leader be where he is has given the leader no right over him. So the leader definitely have no power to correct the subordinate because they are involved in the same corruption, in the same dirty track. Let me tell you, for example, let me give a very funny example. If the father or if the mother catches the father doing something wrong, that father will be unable to correct the mother in front of the children because they're afraid that the mother will speak out. This is what is happening. For the opposition, they themselves have been unable to present the worries of their people at the assembly. And it is a tactical way to remind their people too that please, instead of us going to sit and listen to the same old story, where we will not be given a voice to speak. Because I remember last time when I was in the assembly, some of the representatives of this people of North and Southwest were hushed down and asked to pass down. And I remember that the SDF here represented had to take over the stage and turn into a song just to say that if we cannot speak, nobody speaks. Because it is a monologue. And since it's a monologue and you are forced to go to the parliament to sit and listen, they are using this as a tactic to remind people that if we cannot be listening in the parliament, then let us not go. But I'm saying the problem is that
then don't you think that it's better they resign if they don't have
there
the
is
opportunity
as voted?
But how
you
can they resign when money is a fraud?
As voted, you cannot resign. One, because there is a time frame. My problem with the parliament, with the parliamentarians is that they are not vocal. Just like Mr. Chief said.
Let him finish our conversation.
The problem we have in this country, just like my fellow pastor said, is that there is no proper communication. If I am voted a parliamentarian, I hear from the BLM, there is war in my place. And I sit there to speak and I tell that there's nobody living there. But at times it's unheard of that somebody who doesn't even know the road to the BLM comes here to say that there is serenity and that peace is returning. When I am unable to go to my own place, let me tell you, there is need for proper communication. If a parliamentarian realizes that the purpose for which he came to Yaoundé is not being fulfilled, let him speak out. Okay. That I was sent, I have gone, and I've been held down. But let the community remain together. It is only through this public speaking that we will be able to unite the opposition and bring down the system so that Cameroon can become once again a living nation. Without which we will continue
to mention something for you. You may go to the next panel. 1 minute, 30 seconds. I was embarrassed last week when I was watching the state media on a renowned program, not to do the program publicity here. The one of the vice president of the National Assembly was telling the world that the Anglophone crisis has been tabled in Parliament. I really collapsed in my house.
Thank God.
Listen. It is. Look, if you see people at that level want to, they sell their consciences because of what I don't understand. At the detriment of people who are dying.
The message is gone.
At the detriment of people who have been displaced.
Thank you.
At the detriment of people who are living as refugees.
Okay, thank you.
It's really appalling.
The problem of parliamentarians being absent in during parliamentary sessions is so alarming. What can justify their absence?
Well, madam, before I say anything, permit me use this platform to congratulate the parliamentarians of the SDF who have distinguished themselves by being almost the only parliament, the only set of parliamentarians that have made Cameroonians feel that there is still a legislative house. And this message of congratulations, of course, I must mention the national chairman, who is the controller of government action behind the scene, because it is the national chairman who took the struggle for democracy, the struggle for good governance from the streets into the institutions that you call the parliament today. And the SDF, their participation of the SDF in parliament has not been vain. We have done a lot of things and the people can appreciate for themselves. What you call the Muchipo Gate, which led to what you call the Operation Epevier, is the struggle of parliamentarians of the SDF under the leadership of late MP
Mbanda. So what can justify due to that? Yes, what can justify the absence?
Very vividly to present this one is very important. I want to congratulate especially the MP of the SDF from the Littoral, who has brought up a very important issue, which is the issue of land tenure. I'm talking about Honorable Germany Benit. I want to use this special opportunity to congratulate him because today the whole government is talking about the issue of land tenure. It's important because my other co-panelists get the impression that MPs are not working. But the Cameroonian people have to know that the SDF MPs have been working.
Yes, if they are working, what justifies the fact that they keep on being absent during parliamentary sessions?
Well, so you did not permit me to land. I will say that right now, as we are talking about the issue of land, the issue of land ownership, it has been brought up by an SDF MP, and the whole government is on it now, and we're hoping that, and we will be pushing forward for the reform of the land law, which is archaic.
What justifies the absence of parliament?
With respect to absenteeism,
yes.
First of all, they said a lot of things. One is age. A good number of the MPs are old. A good number of the MPs are old and not being able to sit up and follow debates for quite some time. But that is not the case with the SDF. Secondly, you have
finally
the executive, the functioning of the executive and the legislative. Normally, the legislative power of government is supposed to control government action, but we have a dispensation in the country whereby the majority, the obese majority of the CPDM is seen as a tool to enable the CPDM government govern badly. So when they come to parliament, they are coming to make sure that everything that the executive has said should pass. They are not coming to control that executive. So they don't have a mind of their own to come and control the government in place, which makes it such that the 90% of the responsibility of control of government action is now to the opposition, which the SDF is playing so very well. And if you go to look at the so-called Anglophone problem, he mentioned very well what we did to make sure that the Anglophone problem comes to the floor. If you look at the problem of the diaspora, you know that the SDF, out of close to 100 private member bills, the SDF has proposed a private member bill for double nationality in this country. They refused it in parliament, but went and accepted it at the national dialogue. That is the work we're doing.
Is there enough reasons for them to be absent during parliament?
I've just talked about the relationship between the executive and the legislative. The legislative is seen as a tool by the executive to govern. So most of the MPs who are of the CPDM now, they come in not to control government, but to make sure that what government has decided actually goes through. And
let him finish. Let him end off.
Now, the responsibility with respect to the mandate. Sometimes, I don't know, these MPs, once they are, a good number of them, their mandate is doubtful, they don't feel responsible to the people. Because if the people give you a mandate and you come and you are absent from exercising that mandate, there is a major problem. And one of the reasons why this mandate is panicking is because the people are not effectively involved. And I want to tell the Cameroonian young people here, who think that because the people are old, they cannot do this. Yes, we are saying that we are old. But I want to congratulate them also, because when I look at the pictures of Foncha, Muna, and the others the other day, they were very young people when they assumed state responsibility. But today, to bring a young man to take active interest in the life of the country, in the life of this country, it becomes a problem. They are onlookers. Many of them are so proud of their degrees. They are professional critics, sterile critics, as I often call it. They can tell you the way about, say things, oh, the country is this, the country is that, tell you all kind of theories. But when it comes to where action is taken, you are not there. So, you think that by criticizing, by saying that Cameroon is bad, it is an achievement? It will hardly be counted as an achievement. But the engagement of the young people, that is why I said, the Third Republic is the republic of the younger generation. And it will not happen simply because they are young. It will happen when they come up to take their responsibility.
They have to be present.
How do we do that to make sure that we do not have absenteeisms in the National Assembly again? Register massively on electoral register.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Take interest to be candidates for elections.
Okay, just keep that. We have just few minutes to go. Prince Epie, the consequences are so alarming. It's really playing negatively on the society because every eye is watching. So 1 minute, what is the way forward?
In the Third Republic, is for these people who are there to relinquish power. Mr. Bia, Madam, Mr. Bia announced in his end of year speech last year about generational transition. That they used to be prepared to take power. Where is the generational transition? We have been waiting, where is it?
Are there any sanctions that could be meted on those who keep up getting out?
No, which sanctions? Who will sanction who? When my brother Jodonechi talks at times, I understand him, he's a good militant of his party. But I want to say that let him tell the world if this is parliamentarians with all the praises that he has given, that they have been able to for one law to pass in parliament. No, madam, there is no law that the opposition political parties have been able to pass in parliament or to change one comma.
So what is the way forward?
What is the way forward is that these people who are in power now should relinquish power. They should leave power and allow the youth. No, madam, we are heading to the third. I'm a militant for change and for the Third Republic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the Third Republic, it has long overdue. It has long overdue.
Okay.
We need we need to anticipate elections in this country so that we have real representatives in parliament, of which I'll be one in the next election. And I hope my brother Jodonechi also will be there for us to have good debates. Why not in full conference?
The situation is so disturbing.
Yes.
What is the way forward to make sure that everybody is present during parliamentary sessions for us to move ahead?
Yes, madam, see, when you see me laughing, I want to just tell my partner that politics is not, that power is not like a gift.
Okay, we
that
understand.
They wake up one morning
Who said gift? Who said they should relinquish? They should
when they
Who's
say,
giving who what?
when he say these people should leave the power, no.
I said they should relinquish power. They should quit.
We don't have much time.
Yes,
so what
so-
is the way forward? Where
Yes.
should we move from and where should we go to?
I
for
think
this?
the way forward is that today we are on power and we are struggling to do what we can do to stay on power. Is for them to see what they can do. Talked without action, remain still.
Okay. Atabukolilus.
Yeah.
Where are we heading to? So now the issue is so disturbing. What is the solution? Yeah.
Yes, the solution lies in emancipated minds, because the problem of Cameroon is that they assimilate Cameroonians, get them involved in the way I mean, before asking them to join power. My problem here is the leaders are old. In all of this party, we have youth. Mr. Fuga is a youth.
So what
I'm saying, the solution is let the ballot box be freed from the chains and the grip of the CPDM, so that he who competes well can win free and fair. Be it the CPDM himself winning. Let my way forward is that let me find the youth.
We need a revision of the electoral code.
It must not be an opposition, but let us have a new generation.
A revision of the electoral
Thank
code.
you. Chidiodone, what is the way forward? How should we handle this issue?
Well, like I said, the Third Republic will not come because we want. It will come obviously, but the way it works depends on our actions. And I'm telling the young people out there that nothing will be given to us the way we want it. Even they will give, they may not give what we want. So let the young people get actively involved in politics, register massively to vote, and take interest in the national life of their country. And of course, very vividly, what is very important to me now is the 50th, the commemoration of the 50 years of 20th May. I still want to reiterate to the President of the Republic, take strong measures before that feast. One of them will be to relax the issue, the condition of political prisoners, bring back the corpse of President Amadou Ahidjo, declare a ceasefire in the northwest and southwest, create conditions for frank dialogue.
Is that going to make parliamentarians to take part in parliamentary sessions?
As a result of the failure of the parliamentarians that we are having all what it is.
To make sure that we get into the Third Republic in peace, the Third Federal Republic.
Thank you very much, dear televiewers. It is with that we draw the curtains of the Republican debate this evening. Thank you very much, Prince Pierre, for coming.
The pleasure is mine.
He is from the PAP party, and we have Full Godfrey. Thank you very much, from the CPDM party. And we have Atabom Cornelius. He is a teacher and also a principal. And Chidiodone, you are from the SDF party. Thank you very much. We take another rendezvous next week at 6 p.m. for another interesting debate. Bye.
For this edition.